Impeachment is laid out in Article 2 of the Constitution. Specifically, it says the President of the United States shall be removed from office on impeachment for and conviction of high crimes and misdemeanors. With a majority vote, the House, currently held by Democrats, will initiate those hearings, and they would oversee the investigation into any alleged crimes. But it is the Republican-held Senate that would conduct the actual trial of the president and get to make the final decision on guilt. They would need a 2/3 majority vote to find the president guilty, and if it went this far, they could remove him from office and bar him from holding office in the future. Only 2 presidents, Andrew Johnson and Bill Clinton, ever faced impeachment, and neither of them were forced to leave office.